Hi, Andrew.
Hey Edlin, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for making time to meet with me briefly. I'm really excited to get this opportunity to formally just ask a few questions in regards to how Bunny leaders can support you, Andrew, and your team. Hi, everybody. This is Andrew. He's the Director of Youth Crisis and Homeless Services at Interface Children and Family Services. So, Andrew, how long have you been working with Interface Children and Family Services?
Hi Edlin, thank you for having me. I've had the privilege of being here for a little over a year and 4 months this time around, but prior to this cycle, I was here from 2019 through 2021, going through that transition from remote work to, or I'm sorry, in-person work to that COVID transition that we all got to experience and working remote. But I have been here almost going on 4 years in total at Interface.
Awesome. Perfect. So tell us a little bit about youth crisis and homelessness and how your team has been able to support the community.
Yeah, of course. So I think here in Ventura County, when you think of the homeless population, you do think of the adults who are staying in the riverbeds, who are in the corners asking for any donations available, or who just are pushing around the cart. But youth homelessness is something that's a little bit more hidden. These are the youth who are staying over at your son's house for 3 nights in a row on a weeknight that you're kind of not thinking too much about. But in reality, they're couch surfing. These are youth who are hanging out at Starbucks at 8 p.m. until closing because they need access to the Wi-Fi. So it's a little bit of a hidden population. Here in Ventura County, there are, according to the Ventura County Office of Education, over 7,000 McKinney-Vento students who are experiencing homelessness. So that definition is, families who are doubled up in a home, who are sharing a room or staying in a garage, not necessarily a home for themselves. And of those 7,000, 10% are actually homeless according to the HUD definition. So those are the youth
Mhm.
who are staying in the streets, staying in cars, staying in hotels. So it's relevant here in Ventura County. It might not be as in your face as the general homeless population, but it's there. And then we work not just to support those youth experiencing homelessness, but the at-risk component. So youth who are ditching school, who are failing all their classes, youth who are sneaking out at night or getting home past curfew, who are starting to experiment in drugs. These beginning stages of what leads youth to the long-term cycle of homelessness, we support families and the youth themselves to get connected early and often. And we have two programs, one of them being the street outreach program, where we can go and connect with youth in their homes. We also help them get all the basic needs that they have. So food, shelter, water. Our goal is to get in there early, provide mediation. But in the cases where youth just don't have anywhere to go, because our programs do serve youth 12 through the age of 24. We have a resource and referral where we can kind of provide them information for the local shelters, or even in some cases, provide the sheltering services ourselves. And then we have a youth shelter for those ages 12 through 17, where it's all free. All of these services are completely free. And they can stay with us for 3 up to 21 days with parent permission. And our goal there is to really resolve whatever's going on that's causing youth to run away, or just to give them that cooling period to get back home and still have them going to school, medical appointments, therapy appointments, so they don't miss a beat. So our goal is really to, with youth, prevent them from entering that adult cycle of homelessness. And we do it in a lot of different ways, but primarily through case management.
Perfect. Oh, I love that, Andrew. Thank you so much for elaborating on a lot of the support your team has been able to provide our community here in Ventura County. A lot of these opportunities that we get as contributors organizations go a long way in ensuring that you guys continue to support our children in our community. So thank you so much. What would be the top three things that you see youth experiencing issues with when trying to find a job or even career planning? What would you say those top three things would be?
I feel like a lot is one, having the ability and time to focus on those things when you're kind of jumping from where am I going to sleep tonight to eat tonight, and thinking about like what am I going to do for the rest of my life. Like even as 18, 19 year olds not worrying about shelter, that's still one of those questions that we had a hard time with. But for jumping into careers, is really that the flexibility in schedules like a big challenge for a lot of the youth. They have appointments to tend to, or other family members to take care of while they're experiencing their own items. So sometimes, that schedule around work isn't always the easiest thing, but we do see often youth working night jobs. Sometimes they're taking security jobs and working at night so they can tend to life during the day. So I would say the schedule is a big challenge for some of the youth that are looking to enter the workforce because of everything else they have going on. And then transportation access to getting to and from employment is a challenge if you don't know how to navigate the bus systems, or again, you're just paying for housing because that's all you have money for is this hotel. You don't have the basic functions for a car, maintenance, insurance. So sometimes the transportation component is one of those items that can be a challenge for youth to want to apply to a job. If they live in Oxnard, how am I going to get to Thousand Oaks? Even though they are hiring there, I just don't have the means to get there. Sometimes that is their barrier. And then just to enter the workforce, I mean, number one is just what am I going to do for the rest of my life? But what we encourage youth to do is just get something solid, consistent, and then the pay will come with the long term work. So I would say those are some of the challenges.
Absolutely. I can definitely see all those being extremely difficult challenges, as well as navigating, trying to plan, what their future might look like. I do have a follow-up question to that as well, Andrew.
Please.
What do you see Bunny leaders being able to support interface children and family services through this career planning and workshops?
I think a lot of it, we come from the lens of supporting prevention work to getting them off the street. So our focus is really um, getting the homeless side of services met. All the needs with food, shelter, great. But, the resources and time, because of the limited funding we do have, focus on those interventions and not necessarily the professional development, which I personally feel is the next tier, is to get youth off the street. But the next step is to get them income, to get them employment. So I think with Bunny Leaders, we have the opportunity to, one, have a community partner provide that resource that we just don't have the capacity to. We serve up to 170 youth a year with just a team of what is this, 12 of us. So I think focusing on not just the time, but the expertise that Bunny Leaders can provide gives us a different lens on what employment can look like, or how to even start thinking about a career. Because for us, it's like, yes, here's a job, let's go apply, but not just employment. How can we think about a career? So I think just the expertise and guidance that Bunny Leaders can provide to us is valuable, to look at things from how to interview to how to prepare a resume. I think for me, those are items that we know as professionals are important, but we don't always prioritize it when we work with the youth. And I think Bunny Leaders can help us bridge that gap in some of the services we're able to get to. So I would say that.
Awesome. I appreciate that, Andrew. What would you like listeners to walk away with from meeting you, Andrew, and as Bunny leaders? What would you like the listeners to walk away with?
Well, I think the number one thing is that it's a community to really resolve all of the challenges with youth homelessness. For us, like I just highlighted, that gap in what we have access and time to do. Um, it's not possible if it's just one organization or one team taking care of it, but it really takes the community. If you don't want to see the population of homelessness increase over the years, we need to support, because there's only so much expertise and guidance that one set of individuals can do. So just that it's community effort, and that one, um, our resources are pretty limited. So at the end of the day, and we got to do our best as a community to support them. So thank you to Bunny leaders for supporting us in that as well.
Absolutely. And you know what, Andrew, I couldn't agree the most with you on that one. And everybody has a special thing about their talent, and sometimes it takes a little bit of more time and devotion in order to discover that. And I think between me and you, Andrew, and your team, we'll be able to create those talents and devotions from our local youth. So I'm really excited about this partnership, and I do appreciate your time that you've taken to meet with me formally and present this over to our audience and just inspire more community involvement. I will be sharing this with additional information to interface with some contact information. If you are in need or you're in a crisis situation, please always feel free to reach out to Interface to get additional support. Don't be shy, don't be ashamed. We're all here to support each other. So Bunny Leaders checking out. Andrew?
And Lynn, thank you so much for having me today. And thank you everyone for listening.